Hey there and welcome. I'm Ganesh from learnenglishlab.com, and today we're going to learn 10 idioms based on the hand. Okay. Now all of these are really popular idioms. You may have heard most of them and you should definitely try to use some of them. Okay. So let's get started. The first one is probably the most popular idiom with the word hand in it, and that is give me a hand. This is a way of asking for help. So if someone says to you, hey, can you give me a hand? That means they're asking you for help. Now usually this is used to ask for help with physical labor. Like if I'm trying to move something that's really heavy, or I'm trying to lift a box and I can't lift it, I might say, hey, can you give me a hand? Meaning, can you help me with lifting this box? Okay. All right. Number two is have one's hands full. I've written one's over here because this is how you'll usually see it in dictionaries. And this means that it can be anybody. It can be to have my hands full, or you have your hands full, or his or her. It can be anything. This means that you're really busy. So if I say she has her hands full with 2 jobs, that means she has 2 jobs and she's very busy. She has her hands full with 2 jobs. Imagine if I had lots of things in my hands. I would be very busy. I wouldn't be able to do anything else. So this means that a person cannot do anything else because they're very busy. Okay. Number 3 is to wash one's hands of something. STH means something. Okay. It can be something, or it can actually be somebody as well. Now, if you wash your hands off something or somebody, that means you end your involvement with that thing or with that person. Now, for example, I used to have a motorbike. It was a great bike. It was great for about 2 years, but then it started to give me a lot of problems. I had to do repairs on the motorbike all the time. I got fed up. I sold that bike for really cheap just to wash my hands of the bike. What does that mean? That means I just wanted to get rid of the motorbike, so I sold it for really cheap. So I washed my hands of the motorbike. Okay. Number 4 is to try one's hand at something. This means to try something for the first time. I'd like to try my hand at karate, martial arts, learning to fight and defend yourself. I'd like to try my hand at karate, meaning I have never tried it before, but I would like to try it for the first time. I'd like to try my hand at karate. Okay. All right. Number 5 is to know something like the back of one's hand. Now, the back of your hand is something that you know very well. I know the back of my hand, right? So if you know something like the back of your hand, that means you know that really well. I have a friend who knows calculus, mathematics, calculus. So I have a friend who knows calculus like the back of his hand. That means he's a master of calculus. He knows it really, really well. Okay. Number 6 is in one's hands. If something is in your hands, that means that it is your responsibility. Now, when I was a kid, my grandfather once told me, we had a family party, and my grandfather said, I'm going to put the arrangements for the party in your hands. Now, I was maybe 10 or 11 years old. I loved to do this kind of thing, to make arrangements. So when my grandfather said, I'm going to put the arrangements of the party in your hands, I was very happy because my grandfather was giving me the responsibility. So then I said, hey everybody, guess what? The arrangements for this party are in my hands, meaning I'm responsible. Okay? Number 7 is free hand. And we commonly say that someone has a free hand or someone has been given a free hand. This means that someone has complete control over something. Now this is like number 6, in one's hands, except this is used negatively. Like for example, I gave my brother a free hand with redesigning our house. We wanted to remodel and redecorate our family home. And I gave my brother a free hand with that. Now when I say that, you probably guessed that I'm not very happy. That's because he did a terrible job. The house now looks horrible. So I'm not happy that I gave complete control. I gave a free hand to my brother with the remodeling. Okay, number 8 is get out of hand. We commonly use this to talk about situations. If a situation gets out of hand, then it gets out of control. Okay. This happens sometimes when people protest. That is when people gather as a group and they have these signs and they shout slogans. Sometimes what will happen is violence will break out. People will start fighting and the police might have to get involved. We can then say that the situation got out of hand, almost as if it slipped away from your hand and it got out of control. Okay. Number 9 is to sit on one's hands. Now, if I'm sitting on my hands, what can I do? Well, I can do nothing because my hands are down there and I'm sitting on them, so I can't even move my hands, right? So I can't do anything. So if someone is sitting on their hands, that means they're not doing anything, especially in response to a problem or a situation. There was an earthquake where I live a few years ago, and it took the government a long time to respond to the earthquake. So a lot of people said there was a natural disaster, meaning the earthquake, and the government just sat on its hands, meaning the government didn't do anything. Okay. Number 10, and our last idiom, is to change hands. If something changes hands, then it changes ownership. That is, first one owner has it, and they put the thing into someone else's hands. Oftentimes, this is also used a little negatively. Like I might say, I don't want to buy that car because that car has changed hands 3 times in the last year, meaning so many different owners have had the car. I'm not sure I want that car. All right, so that's our 10 idioms with hand, or with the word hand. Now we're going to do a test to see how many of these you can use correctly. All right, on the screen, I've got 10 sentences with blanks in them. Your job is to fill each blank with the correct idiom. Now pause the video and think about your answers to all of these. When you're ready, play the video again and I will give you the answers. All right, let's look at the answers. Number 1, we filed a complaint with the police about our house being robbed, but they just sat on their hands and did nothing. Number 2, I'd like to try my hand at surfing when I visit Hawaii next week. Now that means I want to try surfing for the first time. All right, number 3, the whole project is in Charles's hands now. I know he will do a great job. That means Charles is now responsible for the project. Number 4, The restaurant has changed hands 3 times in the past 10 years. Meaning that in the past 10 years, there have been 4 owners. The original owners, and then it's changed 3 times. Number 5. Sorry, I can't help you. I've got my hands full with my homework. You can also say, I have my hands full. I have and I've got are both okay. Number 6. She's a geography teacher. She knows the world map like the back of her hand. That means she knows the world map really well. Number 7. I think it was a bad decision to give Kathy a free hand with the budget. That means Kathy now has complete control over the budget and I don't like it. Number 8. This crate is really heavy. Can you give me a hand? Meaning, can you help me with moving or lifting this crate? Number 9. I saw Fred and Mike arguing loudly, and I interfered before